And next, we have Professor Chaim Lotan, Chief Innovation Officer at Hadassah Medical Center, who will take us through the transformative journey of digital advancements in medicine, focusing on cardiac care. His talk, The Evolution of Rather Revolution in the Digital World, will cover the spectrum from prevention to intervention.
Thank you so much. So the world is changing very quickly, and most of us were busy last year with the ChatGPT and all those things. And while preparing my talk for the planned MIXI that was supposed to be in 2023, wanted to talk about how recent changes in technology will change the health tech. And the main question was, can digital health help to solve the healthcare challenges? But then came October 7th, unfortunately, and those atrocities, views, really shocked us all the way. And the hostages issue, which is still viable, and we're still waiting to bring them home. And the decision is, in the startup industry, that for every fallen victim, we'll have one startup, and hopefully next year we'll have new 1,500 startups. So if we go and look back to the digital revolution, we can see that only 50, 60 years ago, if you look at the living room, that's how things looked. And today, it's totally, totally different. Everyone is busy with his digital toy. And Generation Z are already born with the ability to watch and play. And even, some people say that today, even in the womb, the babies are playing. So the digital revolution has real big effect on our lives. And we'll just go and look at several things that are affecting our life with that. So first of all, the changing ecosystem that we have. And we can see that in 20 years or so, we started from the iPhone, and we are in the way that everything is digital. We are connected everywhere, anywhere. And there is an estimate that 2/3 of the world, everywhere, is connected somehow with the phone. And more people have phone than we have toothbrushes at home. So really, the connection is very good. And this connection actually changed the ecosystem where we used to have the drug companies, device companies. Now everything is merging together, and Google is becoming the biggest health tech company, Yahoo merging with the big pharma companies. So the whole mixture is really changing significantly. Why does it happen? Because really it's appealing very much because, you know, we have an immediate reaction. We can recommend it. It's very usable. And, of course, very, very effective. The 3 Ps that are involved in medicine, namely the patient, the physicians, the payers, everyone benefits from that. For the patient, it's the simplicity of use and the ability to have continuous care. For the health givers, it's the ability to be connected with the patient, to watch better for clinical outcome, and it might make the work much more efficient. And for the payers, it's cost saving, and it can develop a lot of delivery models which can help them. So slowly, slowly, we're moving from the old physician that used to be with a stethoscope and listen to a totally different kind of physician that we're starting to see, whether this physician or this is going to be the physician of the future. And Eric Topol, who is really one of the visionaries, cardiologist, wrote just a book, The Digital Doctor, where, you know, the doctor will be in the middle and will accept all the information coming from various sources. What really changed everything is the ability to have remote monitoring. There are almost 300,000, amazing, 300,000 health applications everywhere, and you know, all the way from training, treating, nutrition, and everything. And I don't know how many ways of health-connected technologies that will connect everything and monitor everything 24/7. There are a new generation of biosensors that will be tattooed to the skin. And as you can see, you can have numerous or imaginary number of things that will give you the ability to have millions of sensors to sense basically everything in your body. And the vision is that will be never offline. Everything will be monitored. Going to cardiology, which is my topic, cardiovascular disease, the numbers of needs are growing significantly. Valvular heart disease, you know, aortic stenosis, mitral regurgitation, etc., are becoming very prevalent, as I'll show you, because of the aging of the population, sudden cardiac death, hypertension, heart failure, diabetes. All of them are exploding, and the main reason for us is the aging of the population. People are living more life, they want to live better, and we should provide them the ability to be monitored all the time. Just taking, for example, heart failure, patient can be at home with non-invasive monitoring and can be monitored to see all the changes, the amount of fluid in the lung, and we can get a lot of parameters, as you can see on the right, all the way from blood pressure, heart rate, saturation, amount of fluid, etc., etc. So patient can be very nicely monitored, and it's amazing to see how relatively easy we can get so many data which will help us. Today, we have also the ability to monitor respiratory rate, temperature, saturation, etc., and everything going. And there is a very interesting Israeli company, Cardiac Sense, that is now in FDA studies trying to take all those parameters in sensors in one watch and provide you all those things. One thing that we have to remember with this explosion is the issue of cyber and cybersecurity in medicine, and this is especially with relate to this, because we know that health records are very important to hackers. And we have been able to see in Israel in the last year or two attacks on several hospitals. That was in the papers, both in Hadera or Tzfat, but there were a lot of attempts to attack because it seems that medical data are much more valuable to hackers than any other data. So hackers value very much the data, and it's not only that, because today a lot of devices are connected to the patient. If it's insulin pump that's monitoring blood sugar, or a defibrillator that are in the body, and basically, theoretically or practically, you can influence those devices and maybe kill patient. And I was told that in the darknet there are several attempts like this. And this is a picture of Dick Cheney, who was the vice president. He had inserted the defibrillator, and several months later, because they were afraid of assassination, they had to take out the defibrillator and change the whole thing in order not to be able to influence the defibrillator. So while talking about all this remote medicine, we have to take very important care about cybersecurity. And the question is, what's the future? Where are we going from here? And this is connecting with what we call big data and artificial intelligence. We can accumulate today a huge information of data from many patients. It's currently, we see it in Israel, that a lot of hospitals are gathering their data, and it's very important for rare diseases or stuff that, you know, you have few here and few there. So what happens is that with the help of very big data on the one hand and artificial intelligence that can take it on the other hand, we can do and build a lot of analytic models that will take into consideration. And we can see even today in the field of epidemiology, drug trial, and personalized care that the accumulation of big data and artificial intelligence is changing everything. I'm partly working, consulting in our crowd, and in the last year, 90% of the startups that we got are including big data and AI in the thing that they send. So the physician will be able to leverage the information from multiple data sources. Of course, he will have the clinical data that he has. He will have all the devices that the patient has, bringing him from PPG, all the things that we mentioned. He will have the omics, the genomics, proteinomics. We have heard here a lot about, for example, liquid biopsies or things like this, where you analyze bits and pieces of the DNA. And of course, the immunoprofile data, and everything will be coming to the physician trying to analyze everything together. So the entire healthcare cycle will change. The physician will be getting the information from the patient, as I explained. It will go from the physician to the cloud, analyzed there in the cloud. We are developing a lot of very interesting algorithms to take everything into consideration. Will be sent from the physician after getting it from the cloud, either back to the patient or to the healthcare provider or to the drug, and the drug will be sent to the patient. So the whole care system is really going to change significantly. So the question, is digital revolution here? The answer is yes, it's here. I think that the 21st century will be the century of the digital revolution. We'll see all the partners playing very important part in this. And as I mentioned, it's not just the regular drug companies or device companies. All the Googles and Yahoos and Samsung and everything will be part of the health tech industry. And I just want to tell you that we are just in the middle of that, and probably a lot of things will change in the future. Last word, and this is a slide that I prepared for the ICI last week, is that at the end, it's the physician, it's the human, and we have to take into consideration that on one hand, we have technology, on the other hand, we have the AI, and then we have the human factors, and we have seen some failures of the human factor, and the question is, how do we take everything together? How do we take the responsibility to take the technology, the AI, and all the human factors and give the best care? Thank you.